Howdy, folks. Welcome to episode 12 of Retsutalk. Lots of things have been going on since the last time we spoke. President Barack Obama got reelected. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Slowbeef got married recently, which is why he's not here today. I just came back from a dentist appointment. we covered all of Deep Fear. That is finally behind us. It was originally going to be a Halloween-themed thing. That somehow took us to right before Thanksgiving, but that is thankfully behind us now. And so I'm here with my pals. We are going to lay back. We are going to dish on some games, bro. Am I right, Dectilon and Phiggle?
What up?
I don't know what he's talking about, honestly. I don't know why I'm here.
No, you see, in America, we say dish on some games to indicate that you should be eating something while we do this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, people love listening to the sounds of people consuming food, especially when there's no other background noise like video games to go off of. Just all chewing all the time.
You just described my Thanksgiving.
It's it's a food podcast, but not in the traditional sense, though.
And Dectilon, very special occasion you being on here. You are the first true foreigner guest we have had on the podcast. I know some people may say, hey, wasn't Proton John Canadian? And I would say, eh.
He's barely a foreigner.
But you, good friend, hail from Sweden?
Sweden.
He's from Sudan.
Sweden, that's in the Middle East, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Where they make the Suikoden games in Sweden.
Yeah, it's our main export.
Suikoden games?
Yeah. I'm sorry the last one was so bad. I mean, it's the economy is bringing everything down.
No, man, the first two games were so fun. What went wrong, man?
I don't know.
Thank you.
The well ran dry.
It did.
Because you bombed us, you assholes.
Alabama did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Is that the origin story of Thanksgiving in Sweden?
Yeah. Yeah, we celebrate that here, too, right?
You do?
Yeah, they...
The Pilgrims took a quick detour from the United States, and...
Yeah,
there ain't no brown people here we can kill and take their land.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
Yeah, they had to leave again.
Yeah, the Pilgrims all sound really stereotypically Southern from my point of view. That's what I learned in history class.
Well, I think they got that accent like the instant they landed. So that's why when they took a detour here, that's what they sounded like, and then they went back.
Verily, we have arrived in America.
Yeah.
Something in the topsoil by osmosis affected their larynx somehow.
Yeah. It makes total sense. It would explain everything.
And that's what we give thanks for.
It's only if you have diabetes that you're immune to it.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I'm immune to it. Sorry. And Phiggle, you're a Canadian gentleman, is that correct?
No, that's not. No, I'm USA all the way, man.
You are? For some reason, I was under the impression that you were of a Canadian descent.
No, never. I take offense.
I'm sorry.
And
it's okay.
Confusing. He's so mild-mannered and such a nice person. You'd think it was Canadian.
You're so friendly and likable and inoffensive that I just kind of assumed that you were Canadian. And you're wearing a suit of bacon right now, right?
Yeah, and I'm chugging maple syrup,
Yeah, so it just kind of gave me the impression. So, hey, don't shoot the messenger. Okay.
Don't sweat it. This maple syrup is too delicious for me to resist. And I stole it from some Canadian people, so I can understand the mistake.
Hey.
So I had both of you guys join me today because we are long-term Let's Play bros. Phiggle, rather, you were around the forums in the olden days.
Very true.
In the 07 days of Let Us Play, as it were.
That's true. When I first started watching Let's Plays, actually, I was around the time that Slowbeef was racing Super Mario 3, and part of what got me into Let's Play was that, and Mega Man threads, and since then I've been with Dectilon doing a bunch of Mega Man ROM hacks, and it's pretty awesome.
And Dectilon, what's your origin story of Let Us Play?
If I remember correctly, I think I saw some videos on the Spoonie experiments, and someone on I think I joined the forum there even, for whatever reason, and someone there talked about psychedelic eyeball, on the LP archive, so I went there, and then I found you and Wolfshirt and a bunch of really funny people. So I thought, this seems so cool and fun. I have to try this. And then
So was this like 2009, 10?
8, actually.
8.
Yeah. So not
So
too far.
Let's Play veterans.
Yeah.
Tried and true.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think brings us all together is that the three of us gentlemen, we are big fans of difficult games.
Oh, yes.
This is true.
Yes. I, being a connoisseur of Battletoads-like games, parallel worldsy stuff, and so on. Phiggle, you were into the... you did some videos for my Battletoads thread back in the day, I think, when I had some user participation stuff going on.
I did, probably for the Mega Man X thread, where you were
right.
you were doing it without power-ups, and you had challenges, and like the very first videos that I ever did were challenge videos, and they were fun. I caught the bug.
And then, of course, Dectilon, we're aware of your ROM hack love, and you've been into Dark Souls recently.
Oh, yeah. I think I actually saw you post something on Formspring about playing Dark Souls is too taxing on the mind. So, like, you can only play it once, and I so disagree with that. I
don't know, man. Dark Souls is really fun. I love the game to death, but after I finished it, I was like, the whole New Game Plus thing came up, and I was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. I'm good on kicking my own ass. It's fine.
Yeah, and maybe it's a matter of playstyle. I don't know, but I've only finished the game once, but I've started new games like 4 or 5 times.
Not even New Game Plus, just restarting the game period?
I felt like playing New Game Plus would maybe take away part of the enjoyment, because I didn't know what it entailed particularly, but I got the feeling that it's just gonna be one of those things where you have to play ultra careful all the time, like never get hit ever. And it's like, that's not how I play. I don't know.
And how do you play Dectilon?
I run into the graveyard, grab the Zweihander, and then I build strength until I can wield it with one hand, and then I beat the game. Pretty much.
I feel like we're missing some steps in between there.
No,
okay.
Not really. Like, the Zweihander is just the best weapon ever, because you can knock down almost anything.
Yeah, that's the two-handed sword, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used for my entire playthrough. I got it lightning imbued.
Yeah, I think I just kept going on the normal path, because I tried to imbue some weapons with, like, fire and lightning, but I would run into stuff that was resistant to it. So it was like, I don't know. And then I just upgraded the Zweihander to plus 15 and did, like, I don't know, like 600 damage or something to everything all the time.
Huh.
So
when you get lightning, you can do like 1,500 damage easily. Boom.
Well, to something.
How does it feel, Dectilon?
How does it feel to get
I can use
Zwei handled?
I can use Golden Raisin on my plus 15 sword and do even more damage. So, yeah.
Golden Raisin?
Isn't that what it's called? Raisin? Whatever.
I don't think it's a raisin.
I think it's a raisin. You eat
Resin, perhaps? I don't know anything
Resin
about Dark
sound?
Souls.
I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but it's like golden shit that you scrub on your sword, and now you do lightning damage.
It's called golden shit.
Golden
actually.
shit.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
actually, that's what it is.
It was kind of funny, actually, because the game went really smoothly. Like, I was checking now and then in a guide to see if I didn't, like, miss any items or stuff, like cool stuff. And it came to Sen's Fortress, and the person who had written the guide said something like, "Oh man, this place is so fucking hard. Like, the snake people, they crushed me like nothing." And I was like, oh. Then I walked up to them and I knocked them down with the Zweihander too. And I was like, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. But then I got to Orange and Schmaug, however you say his name.
Are you just making this up?
No.
Orange Demon and Golden Raisins?
I agree. I think you're reading fan fiction.
No, but Orange Dean and the Dragon Slayer and Executioner, they kicked my ass so badly, my Zweihander did nothing to them. because I hit one guy and the other would kill me. Because I'd taken almost no health. I just poured it all into more strength. So I did tons of damage, but I also died real easily.
Well, in Dark Souls, isn't strength more of just a stat that determines what weapons you can use rather than upping your damage, per se?
It does, but there is also the bonus damage thing. And if you upgrade the straight path, I didn't really think about it at the time. It was more like, if I take one more point of strength now, how much does my weapon damage go up? Oh, it went up by like 7. So I'll keep adding strength until that stops going up. And I did that. I got to 40 strength or so, and did just insane damage. And
That's such a Swedish way to think. You disgust me.
And then
it really is like a Viking conqueror kind of attitude. Who cares if our ships burn?
Yeah.
We're going to slice you up and pillage you.
Yeah, is this how the Swedish celebrate Thanksgiving? They just invade the neighboring country and eat all their shit and pillage all their women?
If it's not, it should be.
Other way around. But,
Okay.
close. No, but this is why Denmark still hates us. This happens every year. But they do the same thing to us, so we hate them.
Isn't Denmark the size of a chicken nugget, though? Why would they be a threat to you?
They look small.
I apologize to anybody listening to this from Denmark.
It looks small on the map, but
I know there's at least one person who listens to this from Denmark, because someone said that.
Well, I thought you were actually going to apologize to people who are also chicken nuggets.
We do have some of those in our demographic section, yes.
Man, those stats are awesome.
I'm so sorry.
How do you determine? I guess they leave strange comments on the videos and stuff like that.
I'm a chicken nugget, and I'm offended by your chicken commentary. I don't know why I have a southern accent, and I'm from Denmark. That's exactly what they write. I'm not making that up.
Well, Denmark...
Okay? Not joking around.
Yeah, Denmark is the south of Scandinavia.
Oh, man.
Well,
I'm sorry.
literally and sort of technically, because, they have more racism there and stuff like that. But
And Denmark was one of our closest allies in the Civil War as well.
yeah, right. They're more liberal too. Like I think their drug
Liberal
laws are
Southerners.
laxer. Their prostitution laws are like it's not a crime in Denmark. I don't think.
Prostitution's not a crime, you say? We'll be right back. I'm sorry.
It's just I guess just overall a more extreme place than Norway or Sweden or Finland. But we love
Have
them.
you ever been out of Sweden aside from Denmark?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Where do you Swedish people like to travel?
Well, London's nice. I mean, and I've been to New York, so that was also a cool place. But I guess I mean, just in general, I don't have like one of those. Because I think that if you would say like on average where do Swedish people go on vacation, it would probably be like Greece or Spain.
Or they just play Dark Souls?
Yeah. We're really good at video games here because there's very little to do unless you feel like you have to go on beach vacation.
So, you, Dectilon, being a Swede, and you, Phiggle, being an American, how did the two of you get together and start doing these Mega Man ROM hack videos that you guys have done and that the forums have embraced and loved ever since?
I don't know where to start with, but
Let's bring in Phiggle. We've had too much Swedish chat.
I remember Dectilon bugging me when the Devolution thread, which was a 2007 style group compilation thread, came around that he was going to play a Mega Man 5 run hack, and he's like, I need a guest. And I did one video with him and actually thought that was it, but he's like, I want you to do the rest of the Let's Play too. And then he passed levels to me, and that's pretty much what we've been doing for years.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask you, when did it start? Because it just seems like we've been doing it forever, and I can't just. It seems like an Ouroboros.
I told you I have these little OCD folders saved on my computer, including all our little scraps and things that we never animated into videos, and it includes my diary entries from that.
No.
He's been reading from your first conversation ever this entire time.
Direct quotes, I assure you.
But oh yeah, I remember that now. I think I did like 3 videos on my own, and I put myself to sleep when I was like watching them back to see that the quality was okay. I was like, man, I hate this guy. This guy's so fucking boring.
It's a different kind of hard games, hard to watch.
Yeah. It was hard to play and hard to upload because I didn't really.
I think as well that way back the first time that Mega Man races came around, you busted onto the scene being really good, and we raced each other one time. But I don't know, we hadn't done any actual like videos aside from that until that thread came around. I think.
I think we. I think I talked to you.
This is all very
that.
important details, by the way. I realize that your listeners need to know this.
You need the origin story to the letter.
Yes. Now I remember that. I had been watching the because that's one of the things I did before I joined the forums. I watched a bunch of stuff on LP Archives before I even really knew about Something Awful. Strangely,
LParchive.org.
And I watched Wolfshirt's Ghouls and Ghosts LP, which is still excellent, even though it's like really shoddy quality video-wise. But it's so funny that it just makes up for it. So if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check that out. Battletoads, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And Mega Man, Oyster's Mega Man videos. Although, I get stuck on the races because that just watching them, they seem like so much fun.
Yeah, and you're watching them, you're like, I can beat these chumps.
I actually didn't.
And you pretty
These
much
total
did.
losers.
I actually didn't at the time. I started. I mean, I'd played Mega Man games before, but it was like when I saw the races, I was like, man, this looks really fun. So I'm gonna practice so that if there's ever a Mega Man 4 race, I'm gonna be the best. That was actually right then and there that I decided I was gonna be good at Mega Man games.
And that's when Dectilon plugged himself into the tool-assisted Matrix. And won every Mega Man race from here on out.
Well, the one. I didn't actually finish playing in 5.
You didn't even try to finish all of them, man.
I did. I think I was in first
You
place.
recused yourself from round 2 of one of them. You were like,
Yeah.
I don't need this.
I think I've proven everything I need to prove here. I'm gonna go invade Denmark.
Alone, undefeated.
That's what you did, man.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me feel bad because I've been playing Mega Man since I was really little, and it's like I got annihilated. I'm like, this guy just came along with his fancy accent.
It was the accent.
Which I assume is also some kind of performance-enhancing thing. I don't know.
Do I need a fancy accent to beat Mega Man?
I think it's just that it mellows everyone else out, so they play slower. I think that's what it does. You have that advantage over people.
But no, and one of the cool things about doing the actual races is like, and one of the things I love about Mega Man in general is it can be as hard as you want it to be. Like,
yes.
You want to go through a level just using the Mega Buster? Cool. You want to go through a level abusing like Metal Blade or whatever else is awesome power? Cool. You're having fun, but you can actually make it as hard as you want to, you know, and still have a good time. And you've got your options there right then and there.
Yeah, when you take away fun as the main motivator for playing a game and go instead to how do I do this as quickly as possible and beat all these other people, then you're introducing a whole new level of challenge into things.
Which is actually its own kind of fun, you know. It
is.
It's I don't know. It's very different. Like you know, you can just chill out and have a good time playing, or you can be really proud of yourself. Like, I beat that and I did it with only one thumb, and that's kind of awesome. You know, or I beat it really fast, or, you know, all the stuff that those, you know, challenge threads and things like that, you know, used to be all about. Lots of options, and that, you know, that's part of why I still have a love affair with those games, and, you know, it's getting very hot and heavy, basically. But I shouldn't go into more detail about it right now.
Actually, on that note, maybe I can do my plug now.
Go ahead.
Because
I'll edit it out, but go ahead.
There is a guy who posted a lot in the emasculation station thread when that I think Oyster started.
There was one by Oyster, and then there were a couple of other attempts at kind of similar things. But I think the one you're thinking of is that thread.
All the skilled people left, seems, or they'd done all the challenges they wanted to do,
leaving only us.
Yeah.
Every challenge in video games has been done.
Well, every fun one. But I think the emasculation station was really great though, because a lot of I think the races and all this sort of emanated from there.
So for those not in the know, the emasculation station was a mega thread posted on the Let's Play forum that basically served as a hub for, hey, I have an idea for a challenge to a particular video game that isn't a normal part of playing said video game. Can anyone do this? And then people would post videos of themselves doing those sorts of challenges.
Yes. And some real freaks like myself and Phiggle
emerged into the limelight.
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's actually where I learned to edit a whole bunch of things, because I was like, this video is just boring and a speed run. Let me actually slap together funny things on top of it, and that's kind of why I do what I do, because it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you were plugging somebody.
Yes. One of the people who was posted stuff there late in its life, let's say, was a fellow called Violin, who named himself after a villain from Mega Man X2. Fittingly, because he is really, 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 really good at the Mega Man X series, and he did a bunch of what is essentially Let's Plays of the Mega Man X series, but he did them as a speedrun, as using no power-ups and taking no damage, which is on the hardest difficulty where applicable. And his magnum opus, so to speak, is this no damage, no upgrades run of Mega Man X6, which is on expert, I think it's called, or whatever. You know, the hardest difficulty.
The highest difficulty, yeah.
And that game is just such a joke, like, of game design. It's like when you play it and you think that, oh, someone beat this taking no damage. It's just mind-boggling, because the game is such a huge pain, and it's incredibly impressive to see him play through that. But not only that, he's also really funny on top of that. And he's got a YouTube channel called Hide of Beast. So, like, hide as animal hide of beasts. So
Specifically animal height, not people height?
Well, you know...
Hide, H-I-D-E, as in order to
Hide.
make these videos, he had to skin an animal and sacrifice it to get his evil talents.
Hide, as in hide and seek?
That's right.
Yes.
Just
in case someone couldn't hear what I was saying.
The man is a scary monster, pretty much, and good on him.
But yeah, you should definitely check that out if you want to see a super skilled run that is also very funny. Yeah, that was my plug.
Good job on that plug, Dectilon. That was good. Good plug.
Representing Sweden very proudly.
Yeah. He's not from Sweden, though.
If I may present a question to you gents. We've been talking about a lot of hard game stuff. Why do we do it? It's an interesting thing about how video games are different than any other sorts of entertainment media. Is, all the other entertainment media is very passive. You just consume it, you watch it, nothing is getting in your way of consuming that media. Whereas with a video game, it's actively getting in your way of trying to make progress and see all that it has to offer you. It's constantly presenting obstacles, getting in your way. And yet it's also another form of entertainment. So what is it about it that draws you into it more than, just playing video games that aren't as hard? Why do you dig the stuff getting in your way?
A very deep sense of self-loathing. No. Well, what would you say, Dectilon? I'm curious.
I think it's a very it's it's a feeling almost. It's not like if you, for example, if you see a challenging movie where like you have to think about the themes and stuff to understand what's going on.
Eraserhead.
I don't know. I haven't seen that, but I'm sure you're right.
That's a very challenging movie to watch.
Is it a David Lynch movie?
Yes.
Okay, well then, there you go. I mean, there might be some meaning behind that, but since it's David Lynch, and it might as well not be. But that's like on a very conscious level, whereas playing a harder game, I feel like it tickles your brain on a more unconscious level. Like you might be working on like planning and like thinking, oh, I need to do this to get that to get there. Like I have to put those actions together. But it's like when you do it, it's just a kind of a feeling of acceleration when you pull something really difficult off. Especially if you can do it consistently, because then it just feels like an acquired skill. It feels like you're doing something, which video games rarely do.
Even though you're kind of not. But
Yeah.
Like the opposite of grinding in an RPG, where it just feels like it sometimes rewards some part of your brain, but on the other hand, you feel like you want to kill yourself at the same time. Right.
Do you think it has anything to do with the competitive nature of people?
I don't know about that. I think, think about achievements, for example. You know, it's like, it's not necessarily that you're competing with one person or another to get whatever achievement it is in a one-player game or whatever. It's more like, all right, I accomplished something. I've been recognized. I feel good. And, you know, I progressed through this, which, you know, and some achievements are, you progressed and beat level 1, which is not really awesome. But there are some, like, I mean, I know you talk about Binding of Isaac a lot on the podcast, and there are some really hard things to do on there. And it's like,
for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Like, I actually accomplished that. And
guess what? I did them all.
I know. Dectilon told me he got to the point where he was watching a stream and just like practically one-handedly playing Binding of Isaac in the background and no-hit the final boss. And he's like, I need to uninstall the game. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and I was like, I play this game too much. I have to stop. I have to uninstall it.
But that's like exactly the point, because at that point you no longer have a feeling of accomplishment. You kind of done everything that you would do with the game, and at that point it was kind of a waste of time for you. So you uninstall it, because I've done everything I need to do with this, and I've kind of extracted as much coolness as I can out of this.
Yeah.
And I think it's something like that. Like you feel good when you're able to do like complicated or hard things, and some games they do it well. There are some games that do a bad job of presenting challenge, but when it's like, I don't know, there are some ways that it just feels really good when you can beat a fair game and beat it well.
But does the competitive aspect draw into that at all? Because to me, the hard achievements are basically saying lots of people can't do this, or this is difficult for a lot of people to do. So if you, as opposed to them, can do this, then you're a pretty cool fella.
I'm sure there's part of that. I'm sure there's part of that, like on an unconscious level. But at least for me personally, I feel like the game can be challenging me. Like I can challenge myself with a game, like say Contra. It's one of those games that you hear, like, this game, it's just so hard, you can never beat it unless you have, like, the Konami code, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I wonder why, and I wonder if I can figure the game out. And, like, you can almost treat a difficult game like a puzzle with reflexes. If reflexes are involved. I mean, there are hard games that are only on, like, a thinking level.
Oh, that's interesting. Thinking of it like a puzzle.
Yeah. So like,
I like that.
I shouldn't bring that up right now, but take a shoot 'em up. Say, often the shoot 'em up is done in such a way that if you just try to react to things, like you play and try to react to things, you're not gonna win, because it's made in such a way that you're not. Probably, I mean, you could beat it on your first try, I guess, but that's not like how it's meant to go. You're meant to get to a certain point and lose, and then go back. And while you're on your way back, you think about, why did I die there? And then you try to, like, correct your mistake once you get back, and so on. Like, a lot of shoot-em-ups seem to work that way. So it's kind of like a puzzle with reflexes, yeah.
Phiggle, your response.
Well, I mean, he's pretty much right. We did, Dectilon made me play through Hydra and do a blind run of that. He didn't make me. I mean, I have my own free will and stuff like that, but
it's okay. He made me do it too. So.
Yeah, but
you only played one level and you retsupurae the game, you bastard.
It's kind of what I'm wired to do. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But so I played through it blind, and each time, like, we would do different recording sessions where we'd see how far I could get, and each time, like, you could see actual improvement, and there's something that's really cool about that. But I do want to say, whenever he said, this element is like a little puzzle that you have to figure out, I cringed. Because it's like, oh no, I'm destined to die at this point. But you learn. I mean, it's kind of... there are games that are like that, and there are just parts where you're supposed to figure out the trick. And good games that are, like, hard games that aren't just hard to be sadistic or whatever, will, like... I mean, there'll be a learning curve, but they're fair. You can figure it out. And there's still fun in that. So there is some puzzle element.
It's the fine line where a game becomes more like work than it becomes fun.
Exactly.
Like, say, an I want to be the guy sort of game.
Yes.
Where those just aren't fun. You don't get any sort of enjoyment from figuring it out. It's just like, oh, I learned how to press the button at exactly the right time and do a pixel-perfect jump. Whereas with another game, it's more like having to use your own intuition a little bit to figure out, how do I do the progress, and how do I make progress? And once you do that, then it's like, okay, I'm pretty smart for doing that.
Yeah. Although, I don't think there's anything like in the thing that he brought up. I don't think there's really anything wrong with that specifically. Like, execution, I feel, is a part of difficult games. Like, not only do you need to figure out how to deal with something, but once you get there, you have to pull it off as well.
Yes.
Which is what happened both in Hydora and in our difficult drum hacks.
Right. It's not just learning what to do, but then you're under pressure to do it at that exact moment.
Yes.
Exactly.
Often what happens, I think both when we played Hydora, that was a pretty good experiment of that, actually. But it's like you learn bits and pieces of levels, and then at some point you have to... Because the way Hydora worked is you can save after every level, but if you do that, you won't have enough saves to get you to the final level. So what you want to have to do at some point is to move your save forward and take several levels at once. So what happens is you can learn each level on its own, but then at some point you have to go back to the beginning and beat all levels at once. You have to execute. And I think that's something that happens in a lot of hard games. Like, you have to do a long segment all at once, and you have to execute the things you have to do. And I think the problem with I Want to Be the Guy isn't so much that there are things that are hard in it, as much as the majority of the stuff you meet is just hidden traps. Like, constantly. It's not something you can see, like, that looks like it's gonna fall, or these platforms here are platforms that I need to jump over. It's like, no, if you jump on that platform specifically, it's going to turn into a spike ball. Like, you can't predict that. You can't work with what you see.
Right. That's a thing where you learn by dying, which is not fun. Whereas with something like Dark Souls, you learn by trying something.
Yeah.
And it may work, it may not work, but you learn while you're doing it. Maybe you can make adjustments on the fly and succeed, or maybe you die and then you know what to do when you're approaching it for the next time. But that's when it becomes more fun.
Yeah. Because I Want to Be the Guy, the strange thing about it there is that it has that element as well. It has the element where you have to execute. Once you know what's going to happen, it's still pretty hard. And at that point, I think it's actually an okay game. But it's getting to that point that's just... It's not worth the time. It's just too full of traps. It messes with you too much. I think it can be actually pretty fun to watch someone play, or... well, watch someone, say, demo various traps, because even though they're really dumb traps, some of them are really, they're just funny visual gags, like the moon falling and chasing you down the level, or like Ryu suddenly appearing and doing a shoryuken on you, or stuff like that. So it can be visually funny, but it's not so fun to actually play through it. Takes too long.
Kind of reminds me of a few races I did. There's a racing thread on the Let's Play forum where people are just... It was originally for Super Meat Boy, but then a bunch of other games were getting raced in that thread, and I participated in a few of them. And Super Metroid was one of those games. And, it's not a very difficult game just on its own if you're doing a casual playthrough of it, but if suddenly you're in the mindset of, I need to finish this as fast as possible because I'm racing with a bunch of people, then there are suddenly a bunch of moments where you're under... I say pressure, for lack of a better word, but you're under pressure to, perform and do things exactly correctly. Like, suddenly I need to do the controls just right and do a mock ball to get the super missile early, and then suddenly there's a whole new level of challenge associated with it there. And if you fail, then you have to make up for lost time by going through the rest of the game fighting Spore Spawn, getting the super missiles there, doing that pretty quickly, and it kind of introduces a new level of fun, but it's not that you're dying and having to learn from that. It's you're kind of having to adapt on the spot and race your way through it, and I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, both Mega Man games and a lot of Nintendo games have that quality that you can play it, beat it fairly easily if you want to gather everything, if you want to find everything, use all the powers given to you. Usually pretty easy games, but if you say, nope, I'm not going to use anything, then suddenly they're really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good quality. Choose your own difficulty.
Yeah, I think that's why the Mega Man races became so popular back when Oyster was doing his threads and then Simply Simon picked up and did the games again. There became a point where there was a race in pretty much every thread that had a lot of participation going on in it, and I think it's because of those exact reasons that it became such a draw for everybody.
Yeah. And that was it? I don't even remember at this point. Was that us starting the races for, or was that someone else who had the first?
I don't remember where the idea came from.
Simon posted in his thread, I wonder if we could do races, but I don't know how to do them. And I let him know, I know enough of, coding in AVI Synth and things like that to be able to do the race videos and, add little things that let you know how far people have gotten and things like that. I'm willing to do it. And that was around the time of Mega Man 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Phiggle, I think this is an excellent point to bring up just how much work it is or can be in order to put one of those together. So for those of you not listening and aren't in the know, so race videos, when people independently record their footage of playing through the game, the person editing the video puts all 4 videos in a different quadrant on the screen, syncs them all together, and sometimes puts a little graphic showing progress of each racer. It's a lot of fun, can be fun to watch, but as far as putting it together, Phiggle, what all goes into that?
Man, it's in my experience, it was a big, long AVI Synth script where you, it's easy enough to put all the videos in the right spot. AVI Synth makes that really easy to do. But little things like you have to find what frame somebody beat a guy and then make some change in his icon. You have to bring the icon in and then make a change in that. It's all very exciting. And then there's the timer. Then for the fortress stages in Mega Man, for example, I added little maps where you make little guys move to move along the Wily Castle map and things like that. So each one of those things, the reason that I was willing to do this was actually not out of masochism, but it was more out of actually saying, once you can do it once, you can do it every single time. So... And I think one of the difficult things that you run into in the races that you all are doing is that it's a different game every time, so people want to add different things. But if you just want to slap 4 videos together, you can do that relatively easily. You need to tell people to sync their start and things like that, so that if you're putting it all together, you know where to actually start everybody's video, so it doesn't sound like one person is commenting when their video is doing a different thing and all that kind of stuff. But Yeah.
I think it was Mega Man 5 where you would put those races together, and in your last post you posted a thing that went wrong with every single person's race that you had to fix yourself somehow.
Yeah.
What were some examples of that?
Well, some of the examples were like bad audio and things like that. Somebody recorded their emulator. It was playing their emulator at like 80% speed because that's a setting that they like accidentally pushed a button and didn't know that they had actually pushed the button. And then later on,
I did the 80% option.
You'd think they would notice while playing, but
they're like, "Man, I have such good reaction time. This is really easy, but I'm not going fast." But then they fixed it at some point during the race, and I had to figure out where they fixed it and speed up and slow down the video so it would actually match. Because when you play back from an emulator, it doesn't know that somebody pushed the button. That's one thing. Like people would, like after a race is over, they would start up a different game, and you have to bring that kind of thing in, and sometimes they wouldn't say when it started. I desynced, like I recorded keystrokes and then I desynced on something, so totally my fault, and then I had to put in something different to fill in my part of the window, and just some other things. Like it was lots of little nitpicks and things like that, but that's the experience of putting this kind of stuff together. It's a lot of fun to do, and I would definitely encourage people, like if you want, if it's a fun thing to do, definitely do it. But like do your homework and stuff like that before you actually go ahead and race. And I mean, we're all pros here. We've all actually won Mega Man races. We know our things. Yeah. So
I know a thing or two.
if us three were racing, I'd be like, yeah, I trust you. Don't worry. I'll know everything. But
we're gonna get both a video and audio.
Oh yeah, the other thing, somebody's antivirus started in the middle of their recording and created these little like bits of lag and things like that. And so you because I wanted things to match up with his commentary, because the thing was really funny, I would have to like stretch and slow different things in the video. He didn't have a qualifying time. It was just really funny, and I wanted the things to actually match up to what he was doing. So some of it was self-inflicted, but just for like entertainment value. And that's it.
So racing is fun.
And you created Sergovision.
Yes, I did create Sergvision. Serg, who is a really funny Let's Player who is legendary for getting intoxicated and then racing, did like Game Genie stuff that his emulator didn't actually catch on playback. So when he actually created his video, it was totally desynced for an hour and a half, and he made no progress anyway. So I just kind of created something called Sergvision, where the video like turned all sorts of colors and kind of had nausea effects and things like that, just so that everybody could know what it's like to be Serg, because everybody aspires to such a cool thing.
It's a valuable lesson.
Yeah. But Serg, he's a cool guy. And he was also really helpful throughout the races and actually recording stuff. He was going to take on Mega Man 6, but then, it's just really labor intensive, and I don't blame him for not doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, good God, I would not do it again, I think.
It was some other stuff, too, from what I understand, but best not bring it up here.
Sure.
Probably. No
there was that part where you replaced your audio with, ABBA, probably?
Yeah, probably was, yeah. That was just the spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
And so there's that.
And we're back.
And we're back. I just edited all of that out.
Thank goodness.
Good God, that was boring. No. No, just kidding. I actually think it's interesting, and I wish I could use AVI synth script myself, but...
I've been learning it for my Galaxy 2 Let's Play that I still have not posted as of this recording, but I'm working on. You guys just did a video with me.
Yeah.
Hooray!
We're happy to ruin whatever you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's probably the worst video that's ever been made, but I'm going to post it eventually.
Yeah.
When it's ready.
Yeah. Actually, I just realized something. You talked about competitive spirit, about achieving hard things, and that hard games might have a connection to that.
Right.
Now that I think about it, at least for me and Phiggle, you apparently wasn't too charmed, but we're playing a bit of Street Fighter 4, and
oh yeah, you want to talk about that whole thing that you do?
No, just a tiny bit. I was just gonna mention that is totally that. it's competition.
I understand.
And it's but it's something that's competitive and puzzle-like at the same time. It's like you can run into someone playing a character you've never seen before, if you're fairly new. But usually it's like you run into some kind of setup or trap or something that you've never seen before, and you just have no clue how to get out. And then you have to go and think about it, and like, how can I do something about that? What am I gonna do next time I see that? And that just comes back to the hard games thing, where you face something that you weren't prepared for, you go prepare a little bit, and you come back and you try to execute. And I feel it's, it might be that it is a competitive thing. It's just phrased differently, and it comes together differently.
I know in my experience with playing that game, I feel like good that I did well, not necessarily like good that I beat the crap out of somebody.
Yeah.
So it definitely has more of that element for me. It's like, okay, I figured this out, I got a little bit better, and I can actually execute that trick. Few tricks as I may have, but because Dectilon's been showing me the ropes for a couple months now, and it's really fun. But it's fun for that reason of, okay, I got the hang of this.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 is one of those things that is, you have to put a lot of investment into it to be good. And if you don't, even for a little bit of time, kind of like StarCraft 2 too,
yeah.
If you don't continually put the practice into it, then if you go against anyone who has put that amount of practice into it, then you're probably going to get your ass kicked a lot. And that can be kind of disenchanting a little bit.
Definitely.
As long as I'm playing with friends, or at least people that I know, that part never really bothered me so much, because it's like I'm trying to observe all the time. I feel like it's a bit different in StarCraft, because it's hard. It's so many more moving parts. Like it can be like if he builds 5 extra workers here and you don't see it and react to it, you die, like almost inescapably. And for someone, like, if you don't play the game all that much, then you can get stuck there and never realize what the hell was going on or why it's so deadly. Whereas in Street Fighter, you can see, like, if you feel like the reason I lost specifically is because I couldn't deal with the demon flip cross-up thing, then you can just set that up in training mode, maybe, and see, like, what is the best way to escape that, and you can be done with your research, so to speak, in like 15 minutes. So long as you actually do think about it, I feel like you can spend a lot less time to get good at a fighting game than you have to on a strategy game like StarCraft 2. Although I agree, it is kind of the same thing.
So, Dectilon, you're not just a gamer, but you're also a learner of sorts.
Yeah, I know their antithesis pretty much, but
Gaming is a continuous educational exercise.
oh, help.
Isn't it?
I know that's what my doctor does to, keep up with all of the latest research. He just plays Captain Novolin.
Well, I mean, Captain Novolin is what the JDF endorses as far as diabetes research.
It is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
So what number is he? Is he like, has he made it up to 999 at this point, or is he still working his way up?
Are you talking about his blood sugar level?
No. What?
If his blood sugar was 999, he would be dead.
Or like a sugar
Man.
snowman.
Sugar snowman.
This blood is delicious.
No, I was just thinking, if I remember...
Happy Halloween, here's my urine, it's pretty sweet. Little late Halloween joke from me, Diabetus.
Trick or treat. Oh my god! Put that back in!
You're under arrest, sir.
Oh, what's this? Mm.
So I will be cosplaying as Captain Novolin at PAX East. Look forward to that.
Man.
Well, gotta get to the treadmill, I guess. But,
Blue spandex.
No, yeah, I just remember that at the start of the game there was like a 3-digit code that you could input to change something.
It's supposedly a customizable thing that lets you more precisely, that lets you fluctuate your insulin injections a little bit depending on your profile or something to that effect.
Right.
I never had that.
So obviously, to do the research, he has to play through the game 999 times.
Oh, right. Once you've done that, you know every possible variation of diabetes treatment in the early 90s.
Yeah. It's been updated since then. You know, still by
Yeah,
it,
there'll be a sequel to Captain Novolin where he wears an insulin pump instead.
obviously.
We look forward to that. I'm hoping to race Captain Novolin for the racing thread.
Oh, really?
Because I should be able to win that.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
What happens if you lose?
Then I will turn off my insulin supply.
You're a failure as a diabetic.
That is diabetic seppuku, basically.
I shouldn't laugh.
Just fill it
But I
with
did.
something else.
I'm offended.
Tough.
So we have covered lots of hard game stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else that we have not covered?
I wanted to quickly just say once again that
You're welcome. Oh, no.
I did show you that. Actually, there's two things. But first of all, I think I showed you a little bit of Rocket Knight Adventures, and I still think you should, even if you're not gonna let's play that game, I still think you should try playing it because I do think it's something you would enjoy playing.
You're talking about for your upcoming hard games thread that you're...
Nice segue there. Hard games are,
Hard.
At this point, I think I know a lot of internet people who enjoy hard games, and so we're forming a sort of super group, and we're gonna do a let's play of one hard game each, and see where that takes us.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even promise a special treat that is, in fact, not an LP for that thread. So,
Is it your urine? I hope not.
well, now you spoiled it.
Great.
No,
I ruined
no.
a video and a podcast. Perfect.
Excellent.
I feel accomplished today. Remember that feeling of accomplishment I was talking about? That's where it's at.
Podcasting is the hardest game.
But you were saying, I'm sorry, got distracted by your urine.
Yeah. Quote.
Zip up, Dectilon, please.
I'm so sorry.
God.
I don't know.
It wasn't even.
It wasn't even my joke first.
I didn't want to say anything.
Why did I get blamed for this? But no, it's I'm not entirely sure if I should keep it a secret or not. So I think
can edit it out. I have the power.
Oh yeah, that's true. By the time the hard game thread goes up, Robotic Goat will have finished the 8 Robot Masters for Mega Man Donks, so there will be a playable version of that. And I was hoping
Dectilon, the man told you to zip up.
Well, it's the name of the game. I didn't name it. Once again, it's not my fault.
God damn it.
But yeah, there's that, and I was hoping that the Hard Games bros could have a little race. Maybe invite some more people to try to play it.
I should point out a little bit about what he's talking about. Robot Goat, when we did one of the ROM hack threads, made a playable game with one of the characters that we animated in as a one-off joke, and seems like it's from there that he's crafted an entire game. That's Mega Man kind of made in Game Maker and has all sorts of cool features. That's kind of mean-spirited hard game, but also really fun to play. And I can't wait to see actually how it turns out. So I'm really excited. I'm just hearing about this for the first time. This is really cool.
Yeah, I actually he contacted me via PM at some point after that, and said that he was trying to make a full game out of the tiny sort of joke game that he did with Punch Donkey and then with the Upside Down Dragon. But he said that his level designs were all awful, and he wanted me to do level design. I was like, What? It's Christmas? I didn't realize. Thanks, Robot Goat.
So Dectilon not only enjoys playing hard games, he enjoys creating them and aiding in their creation stuff. It's really awesome.
Yes. I like the theory behind the that's one of the reasons why we're here, I think. But
he's a real Renaissance man
of hard games, but nothing else. But yeah, I designed most of the levels at this point, and weapons and stuff like that. Like only in concept. It's Robot Code has implemented and coded everything. Any new sprites that weren't like stolen from previous Mega Man games he's made,
or from me,
or from you, yeah.
No, I gave them, but it's fine.
Punch Donkey, yeah. So, but really, at this point, at first it was like, yeah, this is gonna be a pretty fun game. Very, like the physics are just like in Mega Man 5. He pulled that off excellently. I think the levels turned out really well, even if they're really hard. We're probably gonna make like a scrub mode at some point.
Mega Man 9 or 10 did it.
Yeah,
that's true. Mega Man 10 did
10.
it. Yeah,
10. Yeah.
Yeah, 10. Blocks over spikes and stupid stuff like that. But I think that the most
remove all the chain chomps.
Yeah. And then there's a hard mode that just fills the entire level with spikes. There's no room to walk anywhere. Every boss is Spike Man. But at this point, it also looks really good. I was really impressed with what he's managed to do. Like he's made custom backgrounds, moving stuff. You know the thing where, like, when you move, there are several layers of background and foreground that move together.
Motion parallax.
Yeah. So now it looks great too. So it's almost like an actual game.
And get excited,
Mega Man 11.
It is awesome.
Yeah, right. We're gonna pitch it soon. As soon as we can remove all the parodies and something awful related jokes from it. like Oyster Man is one of the bosses there. So.
Boy, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah. R.I.P. his feet.
So that'll be a part of the hard games thread when it goes up?
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll look forward to that.
Man, I'm excited for that.
somethingawful.com/letsplayforum.gov. Check it out there.
We're a government entity now?
.org.edu.
Didn't you hear? I got voted in. Don't worry. Everything's fine.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. You were campaigning.
He was elected.
Yep.
Let's commissioner.
I want that game on my desk now.
You're
a loose cannon, Dectilon.
Oh. You can't fire me. I'm too...
Are you in the police force now as well?
I'm everything. I'm all the branches of government. I'm also flexing right now because that's pretty awesome of me.
I believe it.
That's why it's called the government body. It's all contained in Phiggle. That's his official title, actually. I think. Government body.
Yeah.
So, do you have any hard games to mention, Beatus, other than the one you're so known for?
Well, aside from the Battletoads and the Dark Souls, which I'm quite fond of, nothing else has come to mind. We kind of covered Mega Man 9 and 10, kind of did a retro, difficult feel to them in the same way that the original Mega Man was difficult.
They're very different in that Mega Man 9 is much more about deaths, but they're both really good.
Yeah, they're still fun. I was going to do a Let's Play of Mega Man 9 in order to help kind of prep myself for my Galaxy 2 thing that I'm working on, but the PVR thing didn't like how Mega Man 9 came through for some reason, so
I'm sure
didn't feel like fixing it.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure that's solvable either by probably tweaking something, but I mean, there's always Dolphin, you know. I'm sure it can run an emulated 8-bit thing on a, that you can record. You'd
be surprised. I was going to try to do Mega Man 10 in various hard modes for the hard games thread, or at least I thought about it. But then my computer it doesn't handle it, even though it's allegedly 8-bit. It chugs when I try to record it. So it's
it uses Dolphin. But on the other hand...
We'll talk more about this later.
On the other hand, your computer seems to be kind of trashy.
Yeah.
From what I understood, you can get...
White trash.
Well, let's... It lives in a trailer. Has its own tiny trailer on Phiggle's desk.
Where's Daisy Dukes? It's really weird.
Shouts abuse at people who pass by.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hear it right now, but that's only because it's been edited out.
You called it. Guilty as charged. But I did want to point out one other game, which is actually one that I've heard that you like a lot, which is 6Vs, VVVVVV.
Yes.
Which is, it's good. It's actually a game that I think is hard, but the deaths are really forgiving.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really entertaining. Like the gameplay, I really enjoy it. Even though it's around deaths, there are enough checkpoints and things like that, and you can achieve things if you make it through the game with a certain number of deaths and things like that. But that's probably an exception to the rule of like deaths don't make a good hard game. That one is fine, and it's sort of puzzly, and I really like it. So
and great soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very retro, very awesome.
Yeah. Like Commodore style?
Yeah. So play that, very cheap on Steam, get it.
Definitely. Worth your time.
It's same principle as Super Meat Boy, right? Like, there is like this contained space that you have to get to the end of. And
if you die, you very quickly respawn, do it again, keep going until you get past it, next checkpoint, rinse and repeat, Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Good shit.
Highly recommend.
I should play that.
You should. Get on that. It's a classic Dectilon game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it kind of is. Although
I figure you look just like the main character in real life, except with a blonde shock of hair, because that's the way that Swedes work.
Yeah, ironically, that is actually true at the moment.
I did also want to plug one Let's Play that I think is really good. It's not necessarily a hard game, but it's a really good playthrough of the game. A guy named Some Strange Flea. Well, I don't know that that's his real name, but that's what he that's what he goes by on the internet, is doing a fantastic Let's Play of Star Fox 64 that is really funnily edited. It's really entertaining. The videos don't come out very often, but they're all pretty high quality. They're in little 10-minute chunks, and assuming this hasn't been edited out, I highly recommend it.
I will edit all of this out.
Diabetus will just edit random segments of the audio out.
Stop watching and stop listening to this.
That's how I roll. This is my podcast! Anything else to plug? Where if people want to find your thoughts on hard games and other things on the internet or the Twitterverse, where might people find you?
Well, I'm Dectilon on Twitter as well. Although
it's at Dectilon. If people don't put the at in front of it, they will have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
No, I have a special deal with Twitter. I don't have to have that at sign.
Oh.
So.
He got the achievement where you can drop the at sign.
I tweeted so hard, I won.
Good job, man.
Yeah. But maybe I should do that. Maybe I should make some hard game tweets at some point, because it's not like I do it now.
Throw it out there. Let the world see it.
Sure.
Phiggle, are you on the tweeter?
No, but maybe I should be. Maybe I'm missing all sorts of cool things.
Get on that shit, man.
Okay, look for, I don't know, it'll be something like at Phiggle or at Mega Man Dongs. Something or another.
Yeah, usual.
Hey, that's trademarked.
You better reserve it now. I'm getting there right now.
No! It's probably taken already.
I'm at _Beatus, at retsupurae. Follow it all. And I think that is it, gentlemen. We did it.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's right. I feel that same sense of accomplishment.
It wasn't even that.
Achievement unlocked. Did a podcast.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man. Really enjoyed it.
Now just to speedrun this shit.
Nice. Too bad I'm editing all this out.
The outro is just the podcast played in fast forward.
Sounds good to me.
The end.
The end.